Hey everybody, it's Angie from Trips with Angie and welcome to the Sun Princess. We are going to start this ship tour in the Dome. So this is a new concept for Princess that debuted here on the Sun Princess. The Dome is at the front of the ship and spans deck 18 and 19. As you head into the lounge, which is on the starboard or right side of the ship, as you face forward, you'll find the bar and lounge area. This opened around 4 o'clock during our Mediterranean sailing in July of 2020. Heading in, you'll notice it's set up like a beach club. So this reminds me of another cruise ship's front area, and I'm going to talk more about that in my video all about things I think Princess stole from other cruise lines on this ship. So that's a video coming up soon, so be sure to subscribe. Heading towards the pool, I thought the initial renderings had the pool being much bigger, coming much further into the area, but you can see it does span indoor and outdoor. It's almost like they kind of like moved it back a little bit, so it'd be inside and outside. The seating is tiered all the way to the top where you'll find some tables and chairs. In the evening, this turns into a theater for kind of Cirque du Soleil acrobatic shows. If you come at sunset, as you can see, it's absolutely stunning. And then you can watch all of the different acrobats take place. There were 4 different shows during our 2-week sailing. You do need to get there very early to get a seat because it's very limited seating. They turned those chaise loungers into 2 separate chairs. So on the tiers that had a chaise lounger, there'll be 2 rows of seats. So if you're shorter, you definitely want to make sure you get there to sit in the first row of seats in each of the sections. Heading out on deck 18, we're going to see some of the sun loungers that are set up here. I was here pretty early in the morning, so they were just getting all the towels set up, plus it had been raining, so they're cleaning up a bit. You'll find the whirlpools here along the side, giving you those great sea views, and then another bar here overlooking the pool area. Now, all of the bars on board have a different cocktail menu, so you'll want to go and check those out, even if you're not usually a person that checks the menu. I just thought it was neat to see all the different offerings they had. They have really improved their cocktail program. Now we're looking over the main pool area. You can see there are 2 pools there. If you've watched some of my other cruise ship tours, you know that sometimes my complaint is that the pools are not the right size for the size of the ship, but I think the Sun Princess really did a good job with the number of pools and the size of the pools throughout the ship. I was very impressed. It seemed like there was always a spot you could go and hop into a pool, and I'm going to show you all of those as we go throughout the ship on this walkthrough tour. So you have the different tiers of seating. So up here, you're going to have great views out to the ocean, or if you want to watch everything that's happening down on the pool, or watch the movies under the stars. So that big screen during our sailing was used for the movies under the stars, which was both current movies as well as older classics and some of the sporting events that were going on. So that was really fun. There was actually the European Football Championship while we were on board. So they played that in the evenings, and that was very popular. We're passing another whirlpool. There's another one on the other side of the ship. So you can keep that in mind. Hopefully you're a subscriber, so you have seen some of my other videos. If not, I invite you to subscribe. This is the beginning of a series on the Sun Princess. I'm going to talk about what I think they stole from other cruise lines and more about the dining, and then just some tips and tricks and some shorts, including how to use the app. So heading towards the back or mid ship, we're going to head inside just to give you a peek of what's here. We'll find the fitness center, the entrance to the sanctuary, and the photo studio. So the photo studio is a separate option you can sign up for, where you sit in a studio and have the photographer take your picture. Otherwise, they do have setups all around the ship where you can just pop in and get a couple photos. But if you want something more dedicated that will give you more options, you can sign up for that, and then they'll have a whole portfolio there for you to review. Heading into the fitness center, this is included. Now, the classes are an extra charge unless you booked a package like the Princess Plus or the Princess Premier that includes fitness classes. This is the studio. You can see here it's set up for some of their weightlifting classes as well as their cycle class. In addition to that, studio fitness classes also took place in the dome or out on the pool deck, depending on what the style of class was. Some of the stretching classes were included. Now you can see we came around the hallway, past the elevator, and now we're in the fitness center. So this is where you're going to find your cardiovascular machines. They had ellipticals,
treadmills, and bicycles, in addition to stair steppers. They also have towels and antiseptic wipes available, kettlebells, and a lot of free weights. Now, you'll notice looking out of these windows, you are not looking at the ocean. You are looking at people. They kind of put the fitness center here in the middle instead of having it all the way at the front or the back, lined up just against the ocean. So you can do a little people watching while you get your workout in. The fitness classes, they're usually between 6 and 8 per day if you're trying to decide between Princess Plus and Princess Premier. I'm going to have a whole video just about what I thought of Princess Premier, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to get more in depth there. Next to the fitness center, we have the Lotus Salon. This is separate from the Lotus Spa. So the salon is going to be where you get your nail services. So I tried to break in, it was locked, it didn't work. Where you get your manicures, your pedicures, getting your hair cut or styled. That's going to be in this area of the ship that is separate from the spa, which we'll see later, which is where you would get your massages and your facials. The spa and salon services are not included. You can pre-book an appointment through your princess.com cruise personalizer. You can also book appointments once on board. They do have daily specials. When you board, there'll be an orientation and a tour. They have specials there as well, or you can sign up to win a gift certificate. So look in the program for that. Now we're heading up to deck 19. To the area of the ship that has gotten the most controversy because it never opened. So on our sailing in July, this area was not open, and shortly after we returned home, Princess issued a press release saying it will never open. Somehow they were not able to get the safety approvals that were needed to open this area. I just can't imagine what happened. I mean, Carnival Corporation owns Carnival Cruise Lines and Princess. They have installed these, at least a dozen of these type of areas on all different Carnival ships. I don't know what happened. So this area was going to be like a little splash zone where those were little fountains that shot up. You can see on both sides there was this tower that you climb with a dry slide coming down from the top. This is the jogging track that comes around it. So people are up here and can access it and can see all the things that are going to stay closed because they want to run on the jogging track. Above is the track that was going to be for the marquee ride on the ship. It was kind of like a zip line where you held on and sat in a seat and it kind of whirled you around the upper decks. Now I think this was, I wouldn't say false advertising, but they made it look different. So I thought this was going to be something that actually tilted down like you see on like really high buildings. All it was you just kind of hold on to the sides and it tilts a little bit over the edge. I thought it was going to move based on the videos I saw in advance, but it does not, which is probably good because I don't know if that would have passed the safety clearance. This is just incredible that this is all going to have to stay closed. Like they have a huge ropes course. Now you can sit in the hammock if you like, and they do have some nice comfy chairs up here if you wanted to get away from it all or have a quiet place to go, because this will not open. So this is a big rope course. Again, Carnival has ropes courses on a lot of its cruise ships. In here, they did have some games during our sailing. I'm surprised there's not a basketball hoop in here. Maybe they will turn this into a pickleball court now that it's not going to be used for the ropes course, just to salvage some of this area. If you sail after me, can you please let me know if they've done anything else to this area in the comments? You can see some of the infrastructure was here, but none of the handles or the full chairs were installed. They do have some chaise loungers up here. Obviously, you're not going to get service because, they don't really want anyone up here since it's not going to open. If you want to walk on the track, it'll be pretty quiet. Now, this is a part that is open. So let me just give you a visual overview of the sanctuary area. This is an extra charge area, so you can buy a day pass or, for the week. It also is included in some of the suites. Let's take a closer look. The sanctuary is adults only. It features a pool, 2 whirlpools, and a bar. One thing I think they missed the mark on is having these ladders. These wooden ladders are terrible. I really wish they would have just put stairs in. They had the space. All the way to the back of the ship is the signature sun deck. So this is the area exclusively for people who have booked a suite. If you book a day pass, you can have anywhere in that area all around the pool. If you booked a suite, you can have access to this sun deck as well as the area around the pool. I like how they added an extra perk for people who have booked a suite. Shade is a bit hard to find unless you book a cabana. Here's a cabana with the curtains. So you have a sofa, 2 chaise loungers, and a television. The food was really good. So these are the waffles. This is included. They had a great crudité bento box with really good blue cheese dip. They also had a charcuterie bento box with olives, nuts, meats, and cheeses. I love the meze platter with baba ganoush, hummus, pita, and olives. And then they also had a special cocktail list. So they had a really good frozen paloma. All right, so that is the sanctuary. So again, extra charge with a day pass or included in a suite. We're gonna head down from this sad area that will never be. I just, again, can't believe it, that this whole thing they built and now they're not gonna be able to open it. All right, back down on deck 18, we're walking from the back of the ship towards the front. I think it's really fun they included those binoculars. They're free, you don't have to put a coin in. You can take a look around. As we're continuing to walk through the ship, kind of retracing our steps back to the elevator bank, I will say that I thought the sanctuary was worth it. We booked it on a port day where we knew we'd be back to the ship early, and it was wonderful. So I highly recommend it. Definitely on a port day because you'll have the whole thing to yourself. Now we're on deck 17 at the rear elevators, or the elevators in the aft of the ship, and we're going to take a closer look at the main pool deck area. So coming out, you can see like they have some graffiti style art. They really try to modernize their ships, took a lot of inspiration from other cruise lines. I'm going to talk more about that in a future video. You can see to the right there is the main pool bar, and then to the left here is where you can find the premium desserts. So this is ice cream and coffee, so coffee and cones. The premium desserts are special ice cream sundaes and shakes that are included in some of the packages. You have those step-up whirlpools. Here is the stage where the DJ will be a lot of the time in the first of the pools. The pools were on and off open during our sailing. It was frustrating to a lot of people. I don't know if they were still working out some of the plumbing issues or if they just had trouble cleaning them, but they weren't all open all the time. But the whirlpools were open consistently, so that was great. And then here's a closer look at coffees and cones. You can get your espressos in the morning, and then you can come and order. They have special soft serve, but everything there is an extra charge. Nothing is included at coffees and cones, so make sure you have one of the packages. You can see lots of chaise loungers under the overhang here in case you're looking for shade. They have a shower also right in between the whirlpool and the main pool. Now, this decking material is still that decking material that gets to be the temperature of the sun. So either bring water shoes especially for the little ones, or you're definitely going to want to wear your shoes all the way to the pool. Do not burn the bottom of your feet. So there's that second pool, and then again, more great lounge chairs. You can tell that they're kind of far apart. They're spaced well. You don't feel like you're sitting on top of everyone else, which is nice. Here's another staircase up to deck 18, more midship. And then these were the spots that they got a little stuffy back here, but people really did want to be out of the sun. I really like they had the nice tables and chairs. You can sit and relax or grab a bite to eat. So Lido Tacos is a great spot to come. They have tacos, but the other thing they have here is lamb shawarma. These options are all included. Around the corner to the left is Lido Slice. So this is one of the 5 types of pizza on board. I'm going to review all of them in my upcoming dining video, but this is a quick way to get pizza right by the pool. Coming across, we'll find 2 more dining venues. I was really impressed with all of the dining variety on board. This is the Lido Grill. You can see they have the pagers there. So think hot dogs, hamburgers, sandwiches. The reason you need to get a pager is most of the dishes do come with French fries if you like, so that takes a little bit longer to keep up with the French fries. The Lido Greens is the healthy option. So you have whole fruit, and then you also have salads. They have different types of salads that are pre-made, or you can customize your own salad, or you can just take one of the pre-made ones and add more of the things you like to it. This side of the ship also has more traditional tables and chairs if you want to grab a salad and have a seat. This is a good spot. You can see they have the fans there to try to keep the air moving. It does get a little hot. Now this is kind of a hidden area if you want a good spot where you have an awesome straight to the ocean view, but you're still near the bars, you're still near the food. This was one of my favorite areas. Now remember the dome, we've already taken a look inside there, but let's go around and see what's just in front of it, because this is the adults only area of the ship. Now, I would like to know, for those of you who've sailed after me, was this adults only during your sailing? Because the first week of our trip, there were no signs saying this area was adults only, but then the second week of the trip, they put up signs saying it was adults only. So I'm curious if it stayed that way or if it's changed again since then. So see, here we have a whirlpool. They have a lot of whirlpools on the ship. I actually should have counted them all. It's quite impressive. They have a lot of different options. And then you have the bar. This was a great spot to hang out both during the day and at night. And then you have that indoor-outdoor pool. So remember, we saw half of this pool when we looked at the inside of the dome earlier. Again, with those ladders, come on, like, let's have some more steps in. I just think it makes it more accessible for a lot more people, especially like younger kids, not in the case of this because it's adults only, but in the case of the main pool. Heading down, you can see it kind of goes almost all the way down to deck 16 with tiered levels with more chaise loungers, chairs, tables, whirlpools. So this really is a lovely area to hang out, relax. It's quiet. They had some music playing during our sailing, but it wasn't, wild or crazy. They don't have any games in here. Here's another whirlpool on this side of the deck and more tables and chairs with those day beds that go quickly. If there are chair hogs to be found, it's definitely those that come out and grab these day beds early in the morning. Before we leave deck 17, I want to show you what's all the way aft or at the rear of the ship. So we're back to those elevators just below the sanctuary in the rear section of the ship. And now you walk through a ton of cabins. So this was one really weird thing we noticed throughout the ship, that they decided to make a portion of most decks cabins. So depending on which elevator bank you use, you can be walking through a large section of cabins, wondering if you're going the right way. Now they did put up signs to let you know, keep going, you're almost there, but I just thought it was a weird design idea. So all the way back here is Love by Brito. This is a specialty restaurant designed around the art of Brito. You may have seen it. It's kind of graffiti art. That area right there is just a special patio for guests, and the entire restaurant is love themed. I'll go course by course in my dining review, but all of the courses have some kind of heart or love or something in it. It is very romantic. It's very sweet. It is like Valentine's Day on overload, but we really enjoyed it. And the views are the best of any restaurant in the entire ship because you have this absolutely gorgeous aft view. If you come at sunset, it's absolutely incredible, especially if sunset is off the app. Now, an easier way to get there is to take these, we call them the secret elevators. They are all the way aft. And if you notice, I had to put in where I was going and then it lit up which elevator to go through. So now we're in the aft section of deck 9, all the way at the back. And this is where you're going to find part of the buffet. Yes, the buffet is on deck 9. So in the far back of the buffet, you have the catch and the butcher block restaurant. So during the day, these areas are part of the buffet. And then in the evening, they turn into specialty restaurants. I was able to dine at the catch, so you'll be able to catch that review. See what I did there? In the next video. So here is the area that's designated as the catch. And then coming around, you can see this is set up for breakfast. So this is a pro tip. For breakfast, come all the way to the back. It is far less busy than the chaos of the regular buffet. You do have slightly less options, but it has all of your basics, all of your favorites are back here. And it also has this general dining area. I think this is overflow. And then all the way to the side, you can see where the cow is the Butcher Block restaurant. So both the Catch and Butcher Block are specialty restaurants that have an extra charge. Butcher Block is kind of like a Brazilian steakhouse where they walk around with cuts of meat. The Catch is seafood. And you can see there's the special elevators that we just came out of on the other side, and they go up and down the aft section of the ship. Now, I think these were meant to be suite elevators, but when we were there, you didn't need a card to access them at all. All the way to the back, we do have some outdoor seating for the buffet. So this is another great seating area. It does not get super busy. A lot of people don't find it throughout the course of the sailing. So this is a great place to meet if you're in a group because it is easier to access the buffet back there. But the outdoor seating comes all the way around. I love how they incorporated this concept from another cruise ship, which I will talk more about in things I thought Princess stole from other cruise ships. But it's nice to have so many options to eat outside throughout the day. Obviously, these panels here are windbreaks. If you ever wondered what they were, they're windbreaks to keep the wind from just whipping down across the deck. So more seating available. And then here is another one of the quick service options down here on deck 9. You can see they have another grill. So this is a great area. You can also get the hot dogs, hamburgers, tacos, similar to what you can find up on deck 17. You can find down here on the Promenade Grill. You order, you get a pager, and go from there. There's also a bar along the side here, the Promenade Bar, that if you want any cocktails, you can grab those as well. Again, more outdoor seating available for the Promenade Grill. So now we're heading towards the midship, and we'll head inside and you'll be able to see more of the main buffet. Obviously, wash your hands whenever you're heading to the buffet. One thing though about this buffet is most of the items are served to you instead of grabbing them. I love this because I know not everybody's washing their hands, and this just makes it a lot easier. So this area usually is set up. It's the eatery. I came kind of at an off time, so it wouldn't be quite as busy. They were just cleaning up a lot of things. So all the way, they have a made to order station with eggs, waffles, pancakes. You have your regular seating. Now notice there are water pitchers on every table. So instead of having those water stations you see on a lot of other cruise ships where you go up and get your water, they put water pitchers on every table, which I loved. You do just need to grab a glass. Usually a server would come over and bring one right away, or they're available. You can see where they are. They also have lemonade available in pitchers, but I just love this because it's shortcutted trying to find water. When you sit down, grab a glass on your way back, and you have water right at your table and refills. I think it really cuts down on how many cups they have to wash because with the pitcher at your table, you can reuse your cup. Whereas when they have those stations you go to, they ask you to get a new cup every time. All right, now we're on the other side. So we have the ice cream here. So it was soft serve ice cream in cones as well as the bar. And then this is the pizza. So this is the second type of pizza you can get on the ship. It's called Slice. The chef there was amazing. So he would talk through the pizza with you, let you know this was a thicker crust pizza. And he would tell you how he was making it, what the special was. So this was really fun. So here again on deck 9, on the outside, you have the Promenade Grill, hamburgers, hot dogs, tacos, and the Slice, which is pizza, in addition to the main buffet, the Catch restaurant, and the Butcher Block restaurant, all here towards the aft section of deck 9. So you can see here, this part of the buffet is a bit busier than all the way in the aft. Like we were talking about, everything is behind glass. So it will be served to you. And if you want more of something, just ask. I can only imagine in the comments on some of the websites talking about like they didn't give me enough bacon. Just ask for more. Just say, can I have another scoop? Can I have another piece of bacon? Can I have another sausage? Don't worry about it. They're to serve. Their concern is food waste. So as long as you're eating it all, that's all that matters. Heading towards the front of the ship now. So we'll come into the second section of the buffet. So this is even more foods available. And they had a lot of similar items every day. Some of the stations were the same. There's a made to order pasta station that's right here, all the way to midship. They had specials of the day, which tended to be right here, whether it was a Greek day or an Italian day. They had a Mexican station, which was usually right here throughout the sailing, so you could get all your Mexican favorites. You can see some of the guacamole and salsa was already out. And then they had an Asian station where they had different types of dim sum and soups available. Desserts were right here, so you could always get your favorite dessert. And then heading towards the front of the ship, you can see there's even more seating, larger tables. So I think they did try to accommodate larger groups because this is geared more towards family. It's the first Princess ship that really they were trying to court families to come and try Princess. So they had larger areas. So here is the International Cafe and Coffee Shop. They separated the coffee from the food. So on this side is where you order your coffee. So you're teas, your lattes, matchas, all of that. And then around the corner here is where the food is going to be. So they have the desserts are always available, sweet treats for breakfast and lunch and dinner. And then they also have the items you can pull out. They had yogurts, avocado toast. In the afternoon, they had sandwiches, delicious paninis. They also have these egg bites that are kind of like Starbucks that are fantastic. And they have something called a cheese cup. And I'm going to talk more about that in the dining video when I go through all of our favorite things from the International Cafe. Across the way from the International Cafe is Alfredo's Pizzeria. You can see the pizza ovens there. They make personal pizzas right in front of you. This is an extra charge casual dining option. It was open between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. during our sailings. And you can see they have the beautiful seats right there by the windows. I love how open this atrium is. It has beautiful windows that go across all 3 decks and great views even up here from deck 9. Tucked back behind here is Go Princess. If you have any questions about how to use the app, you can also book your shore excursions and inquire about the photo studio that we saw up on the deck and schedule your session. Across the way is the future cruise desk and the loyalty desk. Now heading back through some cabins to try to get to the front of the ship and the elevators there, we'll come across a laundromat. These are available to everyone. There is a charge for the washer and the dryer. You can see the ironing board and iron there. Irons are not allowed on board. You cannot bring an iron or a steamer. They had soap available for purchase, and then the laundromat had 2 washers and 2 dryers. Now we'll head towards the front of the ship to be able to check out the Princess Theater, or the Princess Arena as it's called. So heading down the front staircase and elevators, we'll find the Princess Casino and the Princess Arena. The Princess Arena is the theater, as you may have heard it called on other princess ships. It is not an arena where the gladiators will fight, it's a theater. So this is where the evening shows took place. There were 2 each evening. This had the production shows as well as the guest entertainers. We had singers on board as well as a magician, a nice magic show. So you can see it's a great theater in the round. No poles in the way of your sight lines. There are no tables for your drinks, so keep that in mind. If you're going to bring a drink, you're going to have to hang on to it. Now, if you find the seats a little confining, there is a bench. As you're looking at the theater, it's going to be in the back upper right. So look for that if you think the chairs are going to be a little snug. So here's a couple pictures from the production show. It was a fun pirate themed show. Now, big tip here, you're going to want to get there 30 to 45 minutes in advance. This is true for anything you want to do on the ship. It is a huge ship. The venues are all very small. You're going to want to get to where you want to go early to get a seat. All right, as you can see, we are now into the casino. It's a standard casino. It is a smoking casino, so keep that in mind. It has lots of slot machines as well as your regular table games. They did have some hosted tournaments as well as those special raffles where they'll like call out a machine and you can win extra money. So the casino was very lively during our cruise. I was kind of surprised. It had limited hours because again, it can only be open when the ship is out at sea. So heading back to that beautiful atrium area, we'll find another of the specialty restaurants. This is Kai Sushi. You can see the sushi chefs preparing for the dinner service here. It has a set menu, or you can order rolls and sashimi a la carte. For all of the specialty restaurants, I recommend getting reservations in advance before you board via the cruise personalizer or the app. Now let's talk more about this absolutely gorgeous atrium area. This is a hub of activity both during the day and at night. So when we boarded, there was a violin duo on board playing to welcome all of us on board. They had this wonderful champagne celebration with dancers and acrobats from the dome show as well as the production show. Each evening they had 2 sessions with a special duo. So our first cruise, it was acrobats, you can see here. And then our second cruise, it was professional dancers who did all kinds of fun tango dance sessions. So that's each evening in the program. They also had fun interactive game shows. This is one where they are reenacting scenes from the movies where people have to guess. And then this is my favorite one where musicians from all the different bands on board come together for a rocking evening. And then of course you can't miss the final farewell where we have the chance to thank all of the crew. Coming around the corner, we're going to find the famous Crooner's Bar. I know this is a favorite of so many of you who love to sail Princess. They have the beautiful bar setup. The bar setup reminded me of the Discovery Princess, if you've been on that before, but Crooner's is so much bigger than what's on the Discovery Princess. I was pretty excited about it. Yes, you can see the piano there. They did have a classical piano player, and then they had a sing-along piano player that would play in the pub, which I'm going to show you later. So they had both on board. You didn't have to give up one for the other. Heading back to this elevator bank, just a reminder here, you're going to push in the floor you want to go to on those screens. Then it will tell you which elevator to go to. Pro tip, push the number for as many people want to get into that elevator. That ensures that the elevator will have space when it actually comes. Around the corner, we're going to find the other Asian restaurant, which is the teppanyaki restaurant. This definitely requires reservations in advance. It was very popular. It has the teppanyaki tables as well as a cook your own food option where they bring you a boiling pot of broth or water to cook your own meats and vegetables. On the left here is a set of restrooms. This is the closest restrooms to the crooners and atrium area if you're on deck 8. And then we head back into the shops of Princess. So this has all of the shops you're looking for on your cruise adventure. A reminder that the shops will only be open when the ship is out to sea. So on a very port intensive itinerary like the Mediterranean, it wasn't open that much. So it ended up being very busy in the evenings. When it was open, you could see we passed a jewelry store. Here's all your duty-free cosmetics and perfumes that are available. They had different shows throughout the cruise where they'd highlight maybe a particular designer or particular fragrance. They also had giveaways and raffles. So all of those normal things you would find on any other cruise ship. They do have an expanded watch selection, at least from what I've seen on other Princess cruise ships, right across here from the Italian restaurant, Sabatini's. So if you love to cook, I highly recommend coming down in the morning to watch this chef prepare the fresh pasta every day. I love coming down to see him, what he was making. He would kind of wave at me. I know it was kind of weird. I'm watching him do his job, but it was like watching his technique, especially making raviolis. I actually learned a lot. So he does this in the mornings. And you can see Sabatini's is an absolutely beautiful restaurant. They also hosted some wine tastings. You can find out more about that on board from anyone on the sommelier team. We went to the food and wine pairing wine tasting, and we thought it was very good. The food was excellent, and they did a great job pairing the wines and having some Italian wines that I've never tried before and that you couldn't just get as part of the beverage package. Now we'll head towards the aft or the rear of the ship. Those two screens you're seeing on either side, one will be a guide to activities that are going on. The other will be a map to help you find your way around the ship. Other places to find out about activities are going to be the paper that's delivered to your cabin each evening or via the app. Now, if you haven't sailed Princess in a year, you'll want to re-download the app. There have been tremendous improvements in the app. I think it is much easier now to find out what activities are happening. You can save your favorites and you can view the menus from the different dining establishments. Now we are in the Horizon dining room on deck 8. During our sailing, they called this the American Diner, and it had a special menu for lunch and dinner. On the marquee nights, like the gala night, they served the gala dinner, but otherwise they had a great American Diner menu. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, I highly recommend trying it. We review some of the dishes that we loved in the upcoming dining video. All the way at the back, we have a special dining room. This is part of the Spellbound Magic experience that includes dinner and a magic show. The dinner is served back here in this little dining room, just off of the Deck 8 Horizons dining room. And then the magic takes place in a special secret lounge located more midship. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it. Out the back, we find that aft elevator once again. I like to call it the secret elevator. And then we have the Wake View Bar. This is a very popular area because it was shaded and you have this incredible view. It has an infinity edge pool and then lots of chairs and loungers all around it. Do note that this pool is only 3 feet deep, and it did make me very nervous. There were kids that were having chicken fights on each other's shoulders that were actually taller than the railings, and I was very worried they were going to fall off the back of the ship. I do wish they had a lifeguard back here keeping an eye on things. I think as Sun Princess starts to attract more and more families, hopefully they will invest and have lifeguards around some of the pools that attract more of the kids, especially this one because it just seems a little dangerous to me, but maybe I just worry too much. All right, heading back inside, back towards the dining room. Now, these wine bottles are a special brand of wine just for the magic experience. All right, we're going to head downstairs and just under deck 8 Horizons dining room. You're not going to believe it. It's deck 7 Horizons dining room. So the dining is split to anytime dining and set dining. On our sailing, deck 7 was anytime dining. And I'm going to tell you, it was a mess. It was an absolute disaster. People were waiting 45 minutes. They told you to have reservations in the app. You had a reservation in the app and you'd still have to wait 30 to 40 minutes. It did not matter at all. I highly recommend getting a set dining time on the Sun Princess. This anytime did not work. It absolutely did not work. It was incredibly frustrating. And then once on board, we could not switch to set dining because it was full, because people, I think, were kind of realizing what was happening. Now, the dining room itself is beautiful. And you can see back here in this corner is that curtained area that is used for a special chef's table. You can overlook down to the deck 6 area of the dining room, which is the set dining. You definitely want to request a table near the windows. That beautiful 2-deck set of windows is absolutely gorgeous. And then here's a closer look at that very special dining table. So this is where they could have a special chef's dinner, which would be an extra charge. Heading back to the main entrance of the Horizon dining room, you notice these beautiful lit up staircases. This may be a good spot for a family pick when the dining room is not open. Don't go there when the chaos is happening. Here are the elevators. You notice those black screens. That's where you're going to put in what floor you'd like to go to, and then it will give you a letter of the elevator. Tip here, hit the floor the number of times equal to the number of people you have. So if you have 4 people trying to get on an elevator, hit that floor button 4 times. This will help ensure there's space on the elevator. Here is the Wheelhouse Bar and Lounge. I have to say, we were so sad to see it. I think it's lovely, but we miss that wheelhouse feeling that they have on some of the older ships. This is the Reserve Collection dining room. This was a dining room that was for people who booked a particular class of mini suite. This may not be like this when you board. They have been talking about bringing down the catch or butcher block into that dining room. They're kind of moving around how they're going to use the dining rooms for suites and the specialty restaurants. So that may be different by the time you board the Sun Princess. Heading in, we find some more shops. So these are more of your souvenir shops. You have your liquor, duty-free liquor here of that's available. They did have liquor tastings throughout the cruise. You have your sunglasses, and then you have more of your souvenir types items in these shops. You have your handbags there on the right, and then if you want to buy some new clothes, a new purse, a new hat, those are all going to be here in these special shops, and they did highlight specific designers. They also have the Princess logo shop, so that is a great option here if you want something to commemorate sailing on the Sun Princess, especially if you're sailing in the inaugural season in the next few weeks. You may be able to get some of that merchandise. You can see they have hats, t-shirts, mugs, water bottles, bags, anything you could really want with the Princess logo on it to commemorate this sailing. Around the corner, we'll find Coffee Currents. This is another spot where you can get your specialty coffees. It's kind of like a slimmed down international cafe. It does have some small treats, and I'll show you those later. And then you have your standard espresso latte drinks. So that means here on deck 7, deck 9, and deck 17, you can get your specialty coffees. I recommend the one here on deck 7 because it's not quite as busy as the other locations. Here's another one of those boards I was talking about that has the maps to help you find your way around, and the signature restaurant. The signature restaurant is the exclusive restaurant for people who book a particular type of suite. Now, when you sail, this may be different. They have been talking about moving some of the restaurants around on the Sun Princess. Here is Bellini's Bar. So this has, again, its own special cocktail menu. The wine list is not as expansive as some of the wine bars you find on other ships. I was a little disappointed in that, but it is a great place to sit to check out all of the action happening in the atrium. You'll definitely want to check the schedule. The games are really fun. They have games where everybody can participate, games where you're watching other people participate. So a great space to be and set up for the day, especially if the weather's not great. So here's just a peek at some of those sweet treats available. So you can see it's a slimmed down from what they have upstairs at the International Cafe. All right, we're continuing to head forward on the ship, and we're going to come to O'Malley's Pub. Now, this place was rocking during our sailing because they had an incredible Irish band. This Irish band is so good. They have a spoons class. If you see this on the itinerary, definitely take it. It's so much fun. I love the look in here. You still have that cozy feel of the pub, but it's a little updated and it has great seats. This is definitely a place you want to get there 30 to 45 minutes early. It is also an extra charge casual option. It has its own menu, including scotch eggs, fish and chips, all kinds of fun pub favorites. So this was a highlight of the cruise. We really enjoyed our time in here, but man, was it hard to get a seat. So come early. Princess Live is kind of similar to the Explorer's Lounge you would find on other ships. I love how they evolved it for this ship. I do not really like it on the Royal Princess class ships. So I think they did a great job reverting back to kind of an open lounge space. It's bigger. You can fit more people. It has a lounge feel instead of a theater feel. This was where they had the comedy shows. So they had a lot of comedy on board, several comedians throughout the sailing, and they played here in the Princess Live. So that does mean their shows had to be a little bit tamer, because even if it was a show geared towards adults, people could still be walking by. So you're not going to see some of like the more R-rated comic shows here because it is open, but that also again filled up very quickly. Definitely want to get there 30 to 45 minutes in advance. Now, tucked in over here near the bottom entrance to the Princess Arena is Good Spirits at Sea. So if you've been on the other Princess ships, this is the bar where they have a show that talks about cocktails. I love that they have separated this, that they have made this its own space. It's not competing with other things going on in the atrium anymore. They truly can do a show and educate you about different liquors and cocktails from around the world. It is a bit small, so come early. You've heard me say it like 10 times. I really mean it. You're going to have to come early to see some of these shows. Heading down the hallway towards the entrance to the Princess Arena, we're going to find something a little bit special and tucked away, and that's Neon Grove. This is part of the teens programming. And exactly in the same spot on the other side of the deck is the Underground. So this is part of the older kids programming on Princess. They have activities. They put up a schedule. You can see here what the activities were going to be, so you can come check that, see if any of your teens want to participate. That also is the accessible entrance to the theater on deck 7. So if you have wheels, that would be a good place to enter down on deck 7. Heading down to deck 6, we're going to find guest services. So this is where you want to go if you have any questions. Now, I will tell you the app has a wonderful thing called Crew Chat, where you can send a message to the crew so you don't have to wait in line. Next door is Firefly Park. So this is the programming for the younger kids. So this is where you drop off the kids and they can play and do all kinds of fun things. There were kids involved, so I didn't want to film it, but they have the hours you can see here from 10 to 4 was when they were registering, 12 to 4, and then 7 to 10 were activities. This was on embarkation day, so that's why the hours were a little bit different. And then here's a peek inside the guest services area. They do have a separate one depending on your level in the loyalty program. Elite guests means they've reached the top of the loyalty level. But again, just use the Crew Chat in the app if it's something you just have a question about. We had a discrepancy in our bill, because you can check your bill in the app as well. And so we just emailed Crew Chat and let them know. Again, deck 6 is another one of those decks where you're going to have to walk through some cabins to get to where you want to go. And in this case, we're trying to head to the spa. The main entrance to the spa is located on deck 6 near the midship elevators. The spa does span 2 decks, and there is an entrance down on deck 5, but deck 6 is the main entrance where you want to go if you have questions or you want to schedule an appointment. If you remember, the salon was all the way upstairs, so this area is going to be for the thermal suite, massages, facials, scrubs, those type of body treatments. On the Sun Princess, the thermal suite is called the Enclave, and this is available for an extra charge, or it is included in some of the cabins. You'll enter and you'll find the thermal loungers, also these 2 chairs and a little table. I guess if you're waiting for someone, you would sit there. But anyway, here are the thermal loungers. Those are popular among all the thermal suites, among all the cruises, as well as your cucumber water. So you have 3 different flavored waters you can choose from. And they have a pool. The jets do turn on so you can stand under them, and they give you a little water massage. Then they also have the sensory shower. So these are those showers where you press the button and they may have different colored lights, different colored pressure, to have a kind of a special shower experience. They have a salt room. So this is light humidity, not as much as a steam room, but not as dry as a sauna. And then the idea is the salt that you're breathing in has some healing properties. Then next to that, we'll find a standard sauna. The sauna gets hot, hot, hot. So be really careful when using them. Obviously, you want to check all of the different warnings before you engage in any of these activities, because I think they're not great for people if you have heart conditions, but it's all written there in the spa. And then across the way, just next to the showers, there is another steam room. So you have a steam room, sauna, and salt room to enjoy, as well as the showers, the pool, and the thermal lounges here in the enclave. And then you can see that goes down to deck 5 part. Now, all the way down on deck 4 in midship, they made this like lobby where, to make it a little bit nicer when you come on board, there's also a small bar where you can buy waters. So that is the Sun Princess. What did you think? Let me know in the comments. And then here's some videos YouTube and I thought you might like.